Well, got a different piece of machinery today. It's a Cat 926M wheel loader. Same thing you can see here, direct securements, because you have to meet the heavy equipment requirements on this machine, which require at least a minimum of 4 tie-down points or independent. So I have the two back here, as you can see, going to the tie-down points here, then down to the trailer. Then here's ones to help pull it down and secure it in the middle, which go to the tie-down plates. And we have the two up front here, as you can see, go over to the tie-down points on the front of the machine, using plates up here too. Once again, have a chain securing down the hydraulic shovel as required. And the strap you see, that is actually because this is a quick detachable bucket, so it has to be strapped to the machine according to Caterpillar. Let's walk around to the other side, as this is a articulating wheel loader, which according to the DOT requirements under 393.130, it has to have its articulation point locked out during transit, which a lot of newer equipment has these lockout bars. As you can see, this locks it out so it cannot pivot or turn during transit. If it doesn't have those, then you have to chain it in a manner that will keep either one side or the other from being able to pivot or articulate, so that the machine does not have a chance of moving via the hydraulics in transit. Kind of falls under the same ruling as the reason that the hydraulic shovel has to be chained down, to prevent a chance of the hydraulics starting to move on their own due to temperature changes, if pressure changes happen. It's just kind of make sure that it stays on the trailer in a proper place. But as you can see here, this does have a lockout bar, which is pretty obvious being painted red next to a yellow machine. You can see over here, got this chain tying down this side of the machine, same as the other side. Same on the front here. Got a little bit of padding between the chains where they make contact so they're not rubbing directly on each other. The reason for the boards under the bucket too, just I'll cover that a second, is actually so this cutting edge doesn't chew into the deck of the trailer, because it will start to chew on this aluminum deck here and actually cut a groove in it. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward machine. Easy to secure, easy to tie down. Used a little bit of old strap here just to help keep the paint protected from the chains. And then you can see on the back here, same thing as the other side. Goes from the securement point down using two spools. Because an interesting fact about renting our trailers, they do not actually give you a working load rating on a single chain spool. They give you a working load rating on either 2 chain spools or a chain spool and a stake pocket. But as you can see here, actually, good example, these stake pockets bend very easily, so I try and avoid using them for chains. Like you can see here, this one's actually collapsed in and broke a bit. But that's the reason to avoid those. They can't really take the strain and stress of chains like the spools themselves can. Other than that, straightforward machine to chain down, very easily to secure. There's enough securement on here for the weight of the machine. Machine weighs in at about 26,000. There's roughly 9,900 pounds of securement per side, going off the fact that these are put down to 50% of their working load being all direct securements. So that covers weight of the machine for legality. And much beyond that, there isn't a ton of good areas to secure this machine with beyond that point. You could put some chains like up to this chassis member and then protect it. But other than that, there's only actually the securement points on the back of the machine, in front of the machine, that are technically actually securement points. Because this chain on the bucket, just by it not really downward pulling, it's more pulling the boom so it cannot raise. I don't really count it towards the actual securement value of the rest of the machine. But that's the walkthrough on this 926M Caterpillar wheel loader. Figured I'd cover the articulation lockout and a little bit on that, since all my other videos I haven't actually had a chance to cover articulation.